is Monday. We are finally back. It's been a very cold Canadian week, but we're here to warm things up with a whole panel of beautiful souls. Welcome, everybody. How's it going?
Hi, BurnEye. Hi,
Hey.
Hi.
Yowza.
What's up, brother?
Adam. Oh, and we lost Space Case. Of course, he called it. The bandwidth, that intro, I guess, eats it up every time. He will be back. Jeremiah, we still got you with us, and we were going to be talking some metamaterials. Have you taken a look at the new LK99 superconductor stuff yet?
I've replicated a few proximities to it. So I have a material that acts like LK99 for most of its properties. There are a few differences, but otherwise I'm pretty confident I know why it's doing what it's doing. I'm not particularly excited about it because it's not really a true superconductor. It has superconducting-like properties, as in it exhibits behaviors of a material that is in the superconducting state, but when you actually go to try and pass power through it, it doesn't act like a superconductor. So you can't make electromagnets out of it. You're not going to be able to do those types of things. There is a crystalline lattice structure where this material is quite useful as a metamaterial because of its lattice. That doesn't mean it's truly superconducting, but it does, again, have access to these types of states like we talked about in that crazy interaction of two fields or two electrons floating on the outside of those carbon nanotubes. This would be something that follows the same type of principles. Room temperature superconductors, right?
Right, so it's a step in the building block process in these metamaterials. And then what I've got here held up, it's now PCPOSOS, which is a sulfur addition to the LK99, which the Koreans, I guess, are publishing, claiming that it adds more of these properties to it and might actually be one step closer or reaching. Oh, there we go. Still there. Reaching this actual superconductor level, but I haven't fully read the articles yet on it. But it's a work in process.
Well, like for example, those scientists who would have access to this type of stuff and are doing it, I would ask this question: have we considered the preliminary concept of different spin isotopes being prevalent, maybe even necessary in the formation of these crystalline lattice structures of LK99's unique properties? Say, we know that every single element on the periodic table has a percentage of spin isotopes that are abundant, and some of them are 100% abundant. They're all odd nucleon spins, and some of them are not. That means different number of neutrons and protons. The ones that have different numbers of neutrons and protons act strangely in a gravitational field, and I would assume that to get unique properties, we would need specifically unique spin isotopes, and we would want to concentrate them together. We would want to get them into crystalline lattice structures so that we can utilize their unique properties. It's just something that's not been looked at yet. It's not in the papers. It's not in the research. But I mention it now and here for those who are looking into this. Consider spin isotope ratios and nuclear abundance in considering these crystalline lattice structures and how it might affect the properties of said material.
That's a crucial point, and I'm in my mind envisioning that connecting into previous conversations we've had, and just how this nuclear spin is just such an integral part of universal structure and movement and just creation and geometry that it's vastly overlooked or underlooked in Western science.
Oh, come on. Don't let me take the floor.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself there by accident. Adam, are you there? Space Case. Shall we, speaking of spin up some of what you've got going on with the bagel coil?
Well, yeah, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I suppose my recent, anyway, I don't know. I suppose I've been thinking the last few minutes about where people are at, what reality they will accept, and things like that. But anyway, I'm 40 years down this line of going down what reality is as like a rabbit hole, and I know I've got myself to places that most people don't acknowledge, don't accept. Anyway, the bagel coil is a crazy enough thing on its own. It appears to be what the bagel coil field, not the bagel coil itself. And if you look at what our reality is probably made out of, it's this bagel coil field, and hopefully people know what I'm referring to. It's the Planck length. It's running at probably 1.05 terahertz, which is insanely high frequency. And that's what our reality is. All the electrons, neutrons, protons around us are made up of. The thing that I found out recently is that you can store pressure. Like these little fields, they act like little bottles. You can store magnetic pressure, ether density, warp space, whatever you want to call it, inside these things. And it's why things like when somebody shuts off, what? Oh, you've got my video there. I'm sorry, I wasn't even looking at the screen. But it's I'm wearing the same coat, by the way. It's cold in here. But anyway, it's when you start messing with these fields, you can model our entire reality with this magnetic fluid, whatever people used to call it ether, but then they replaced the ether with warp space, which is the same thing, which makes you wonder why they bother doing that. Anyway, but like these things inside them, they can hold pressure changes. Like imagine like ball lightning. It floats around. That's the bagel coil field in like a circular shape, because if you actually alter reality that much, there's not enough energy to do it. It needs to be a surface effect. So like ball lightning is this surface effect, and when it finally runs out of energy, they just kind of blow up, and then the water or sand or whatever is in them just falls out of space. But when it was in that state, it had no inertia. I've got this fantastic document, I think it's from 1954, about the origins of inertia. And they start off with everything else around you appears to be what's created inertia. So when like Sinclair starts off his absolutely insane looking patents when you read them with calculating out the mass of known reality, there's a reason for that. That's what creates inertia. So if you charge something, like Bob Greenyer taught us, if you charge something electrostatically, these are these little bagel coil fields, they're self-organizing. They make themselves like medieval chainmail in these little organized patterns. And I have yet to see anyone see that when you charge something past 1.3 million volts, gravity does not touch it. And there was this crazy website out of Brazil that I read where this guy was claiming this. The government came in, whatever. I viewed this website like 5 times, couldn't save it because a computer virus completely wiped out my computer every time. I don't know exactly why that happened, but still, there are so many accounts of this. You charge something to pass 1.3 million volts and it cuts itself off from the rest of our inertia. Gravity doesn't touch it anymore. This is super interesting. And these little devices I'm showing in the video there, they are so important because it means you can turn on 2 magnetic coils at the same time, and then you turn one of them off first. So the speed of light difference between one and the other, don't you get one pushing on one that's not there anymore, and then it moves a little bit? So I ran these experiments because Jeremiah told me it was a thing, and within a couple of days, I had 4
I like where
completely
this is
different
going.
devices to do it. Well, mostly because I tried to convince others to reproduce it, and well, nobody was interested, at least in the couple of hours it took me to build the next one. So
Actually, I would
if
say
you
it
charge yourself-
it went beyond that. Like, we actually had opposition, or I should say distraction. The second that you would bring up this topic, everybody got completely squirreled. It was like from all directions. It happened several times to the point it got ridiculous. I'm like, come on.
Right, it was absolutely crazy. So I just built more and more of them because, well, I could and I knew how, and I wanted to eliminate experimental error. But what this means is if you take something and you charge it to, let's say, 2 million volts, and then you go have a couple of magnetic coils on it, and you do something as simple as turn them both on at each end at the same time, and you turn one of them off first. Well, you've got no more inertia. So you're going to move as fast as you want. This is really easy. This hardware isn't like challenging to figure out. It's, however, really expensive to build. So that's kind of a bit of a pain. So, it's like if somebody asked you to go build your car in the driveway, like, could you? This is an undertaking of which 1,000 people could probably pull off, but less than that. Those things are so crazy expensive if you try to build one from scratch. It's only mass production why we can own them all. So anyway, it's one of these things where these ideas are so simple, they're so easy, but they're a bit hard to actually build. But the opposition to this sort of thing is enormous. I had people telling me I need to stop my forward progress and I need to focus it at every little detail. This is going to take me 5 to 10 years to prove because I need investors and I need the academic industry to pay attention. Well, I don't care about either of those
Right?
groups.
Like,
They're already
no,
telling me
I'm
this.
going to keep experimenting.
Right, but I mean, this is literally, I had these people in college tell me, not I interpreted results wrong from these experiments. They told me that device should have never been built. That was so telling as far as their point of view and what they were thinking. I mean, you want to tell somebody they've got experimental error, okay, fine, but what the heck was I told? That's madness. And and this was early 1990s. And ever since then, I've been trying to reproduce my own work, and it's been hard because I've had no support. And as Jeremiah just pointed out, the opposition, whoever they are, they pop out of the woodwork. They distract, they cleverly distract. They make sure that this idea isn't going to get out there, that you can model our entire reality as a magnetic fluid or a magnetic gas or whatever you want to model it as. But if you do that, you hold true to the original Faraday, it's the other guy that
Electrodynamics.
math guy, right? The magnetic electrodynamics. If you model it that way, all these little flying saucers in the air and all this stuff we see makes complete sense. It's not even that hard to figure out. It's maybe a bit pricey to build, but it's not that hard to figure out.
What if they validate you? They somehow discredit themselves, and it alters their reality because they validated in you.
Well, in a manner of speaking, when they speak ignorantly, they are invalidating themselves. So you say, Professor, I built something that did a really strange thing, but just to make sure I was right, I took 2 clocks, and one of them ticked slower when it was close to the device. And the professor looks at you and says, "What now?" And you say, "Well, look, here's the data. I did it 10 times in a row, and it works every single time." And the professor doesn't ask you for more information. The professor tells you, "You should have never built that."
Right.
Perhaps maybe you violated
That's
the ultimate thing, which is to say, "Professor, I've looked at the mathematics because I'm a good student, and it appears that Einsteinian relativity can't explain this." Well, now you're really in for it because you've just said the ultimate sin.
Science is a repeatable experiment, no matter what they say.
Oh, that's what I keep
And
telling
the
everyone.
problem
Try
for
it.
them is it exists.
It's envy.
Try it yourself. Go build it. This stuff isn't hard.
You
I
can't
did this with a
bring
few
anything
$100 of hardware.
new to a professor of
Wait,
traditional
it's
science.
a top-down organization. Look at their funding. I worked at a science museum, and I watched a National Academy of Sciences meeting one year, and that was so enlightening. They
All the greatest had
lamented
competition.
what?
All the greatest scientists of all time had a struggle getting their science recognized. Same as today.
Yeah, and there's a history of good science being blocked by people. I mean, look what they did to
Exactly
Galileo.
And if
that,
you look
Mike.
closely, not all of them survived, you know. Some of them were publicly
Galileo.
burned.
Which is the paradigm that they
I mean, this is why I use Space Case Zero. I don't want people knowing my name. I don't want any backlash from this. I want the experimenters to go out and learn things I'm sharing, and the naysayers, they can do whatever they want.
I'm
I hope
kicking
they
you
never
out right
find
now.
me.
Back in your room. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm already in my room.
not talking
Sorry,
to
the
us,
internet.
obviously. But that's what the establishment says to us that try to experiment. But the problem is, you make it, you build it, and it's there, and it makes these anomalies. We have to repeat it.
So, I don't know if I mentioned, I used to I was the tech support for a web server for a bunch of archaeologists. And I watched this happen where they figured out what they now call geopolymer, the whole idea where you can, make stone out of this stuff. And most of the archaeologists didn't believe this. And it was interesting to watch. They were complete naysayers. So the other side's like, okay, fine. They published all of how to do it, and they still didn't believe it. So they went and they started selling small statues online. Like, these are made out of stone. We can look at the old little stone beads in ancient
Shout out
history, and
to
we can
Dutch
literally
Sense.
see
He's
them.
currently doing the same thing.
Right.
He's making glow in the dark ones now too.
I'm working on
that's
paramagnetic
awesome.
towers.
So you can see the piece of. You can see the straw on the inside of these beads on every one of these things historically. So you can see the straw form they were painted on. So anyway, the mainstream archaeologists wouldn't accept that either. So these people started a full-on company. They are building buildings and airport runways. There are physical items in Australia from this company that's building this stuff. And the archaeologists still tell them it's not even possible. So even coming up with a marketable item out of this stuff is not going to convince the naysayers, which leads me to believe that I need to build a marketable item out of this, or nobody's going to believe me. And even if I do, I'm still going to leave the other people not believing it's even possible once somebody's had a full-blown company making millions of dollars a year off the idea. It's never going to happen. They are
The only way
never
you'll
going to
pique
believe
their
anything.
interest if you call it a spy gadget or a weapon. The second you say those two words, all ears open up and all the funding starts to trickle. Because
Geopolymer weapon.
I'm telling you, like that's the only two ways to get money out of, out of grants or out of the Department of Defense or anybody. You have to give them a toy
That
to
is
play with.
You
If
give
you
them
don't
what
give
they
them a
want.
toy
You
to
make
play
it. You
with,
make whatever it is. Make it work in a car.
like you really
Everybody likes
give
cars, right?
the
something to
Medusa.
oh, we could use this against somebody. They like the whole idea, like they have something more powerful
You're
than the other
brilliant.
side.
That's brilliant, Lulu. We're gonna call it. We're gonna make the geopolymer weapon, and we're gonna call it the Medusa. We're gonna market it as the Medusa. It's gonna turn you to stone.
Yeah, something like that. That's when everybody peaks. Seriously.
that is what people pay attention to. Oh, it's so sad.
It
I mean,
is.
my
sad.
goal
Right?
is
They
But
understand
hey,
like he has a bigger purpose for this. It's not just for little toys that you guys could threaten each other with, but really there's
I mean,
something much bigger.
my goal for this is try to make our artificial scarcity world we live in with no scarcity at all. That way people have nothing to fight over anymore and all the wars stop. That's really what I'd like to see.
You know what the greatest thing about over Unity engines or whatever electricity is you can make water anywhere in the world out of the air with electricity, condensation.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had a well run dry, you know exactly how important that is.
Right. So it's highly unlikely that in the desert somewhere that they don't got something running like that already.
I'm working with zeolite to try to make some geopolymer with basalt, which is paramagnetic.
Nice.
Basalt.
Oh yeah, way good material to
that
work
gets
with.
into the metamaterial aspect of it, and
Yeah.
to start coating the coils is the next part. And
I'm using
Space
coils.
Case, I wanted to continue.
I'm using coils inside this structure.
Nice.
Basalt. Is that a rock?
Yeah, so
It's a stone.
Space Case, have you tried nano coating your coils yet? The bagel coils?
Yeah. This basalt zeolite polymer, I'm coating it with nano gold and with ormus.
Wonderful.
Cool mixture.
I got an image of this project. If you want me to share the screen, I can do it.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see the stuff. So all my coils are coated in epoxy or some other thing from the factory. I want to see what he's done.
Well, I mean, it's raw. It's
Right,
raw
me
copper,
too.
believe me.
And
It's not insulated copper.
it's that you have.
And then he coats it.
Well, we have here a mixture of zeolite and basalt. We have the proportions of basalt 60% and 39% of zeolite and kaolin, which is also zeolite-like material. And I also added some oxide iron oxides to this mixture, and that mixture was put into a cone, which is 51 angle. This is a angle that was measured by a scientist, which is linked to electroculture, which is called Yannick Van Doom from France. He's my teacher,
I know his
actually.
work. Great.
Yeah, he's
Nice,
my teacher.
nice.
Well, and then I put inside a copper coil with like a cone type clockwise, and a copper tube, which is not filled. It's only air inside of this copper tube. And well, that's I'm making these mixtures over here, and got some other images I can share.
Yes,
This is,
please. This is
that
amazing
GANs?
work.
This is Ormus. Can you see?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys know about GANs?
Yeah, so GANs and Ormus are essentially one and the same. It's just different acronyms for these monoatomic materials. Or
this is
nano
nanogold.
Yeah, very nice.
20 nanometer gold, nanogold inside Ormus or Ormus, but I integrate them using 42 kilohertz of ultrasound.
Really? You got yours through the ultrasound to do that?
Yeah. This is a zeolite powder.
I drank a whole bottle of Ormus that I bought online. I had an interesting experience.
This is the structure of the zeolite, which is has the 3 to 9
neural activity at night sleeping.
Yeah, zeolite have 3 to 9
not
Armstrong
bad, but good
holes, very small pores its cavity is very, very small, from 3 to 9 Armstrongs. It is actually said that monoatomic particles can go in a single atom inside zeolite pores, just like water atoms can go in a single form and create different configurations. So I got a picture, I got a video on zeolite being ultrasound underwater, and this create an effect which is called nanobubble nucleation. So by using ultrasound, the zeolite creates on its surface nanobubbles. This was suggested by Jason Berbelli. Have you heard about Jason?
Oh yeah, amazing work. I'm still angry at YouTube for deleting his channels, and they need to
Sure.
reinstate them because it's a crime against science for doing that.
It is.
Graphene bubbles or hydrogen bubbles?
It's just normal nanobubbles. It's oxygen. I don't know.
Little black graphene?
No, it's from zeolite.
Zeolite.
I will share
zeolite doesn't
the
really
video.
have carbon in it.
Sorry?
I was just saying, zeolite made out of a lot of carbon. Like there's not carbon in it. It's not going to make carbon bubbles. Whatever the bubbles
No.
are, they're not carbon.
These are aluminum silicate material. You can see here the zeolite pores, while being struck by the ultrasound, create micro bubbles, but in the smaller level, you can see also nano bubbles, like carbon nanotube could make. But this is by using ultrasound. And in the surface of the zeolite, these nanobubbles are being produced in a very small form. This is just the first experiment on it.
Oh, I love this. This is amazing work you're doing.
This is to achieve more surface area, no?
Yeah,
Like the McGrath soils.
there you go. Some bubble formations from this 3 to 9 Armstrong zeolite structure. Well, I don't know. The video is a little bit slow. It actually doesn't look that way. But well, I got other. This is a Ormus being solid in a solid state.
I'm gonna have to hit share again. We lost it.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Let me find the video and I'll share it.
Yes,
But
please.
I'm using some Tesla coil to give some charge to this Ormus. Okay, I'll share it again. My screen. There you go. Here in the center, it's a solid state Ormus, which I desiccated.
Oh wow.
I used a furnace in 100 Celsius, and it actually seems like a big piece, but its weight, it's not as its mass looks. So it's very light, and the heat won't harm it. I've made some studies on this material, and magnesium oxides are the most predominant minerals in this Hormuz which is made from ocean water, using a very simple method for extraction. It's not the same method of extraction as electrolysis, but we use carbonates, for example.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that method. That's awesome. Like, I'm so stoked to meet you and have you on tonight. Like, you're doing so much different parallel research and like different experiments that I've thought of in my mind that like I've wanted to
Cool.
do. And like, it's epic to see others taking it up and doing it on your own initiative and stuff. And that's awesome, man.
I got more information, bro. Whenever you want, I can share. I also made some pyramid presentations
Yeah,
about pyramid energy
I
applied
would
on.
love. We'd all love if you don't mind sharing that right now.
Okay,
100%.
let me share my screen again. I'll go to a YouTube channel, which is the place where it's being shown right now. It's not my channel, but it's a friend's channel. Let me look
For sure.
for the. Oh, okay. Here we go. I got it. Let me share screen again. 1 second. Are you watching?
Yeah, we got it up now.
Are you watching, guys?
Yeah, we can see it. You're gonna
Oh,
have
cool.
to unmute it. Is the only thing you've got it on mute. There we go. And if you can turn the volume up, yeah. But we can't hear it. Strange. No, there's no sound on it.
He
Sadly.
forgot to click the share
Um.
audio box in the bottom.
I can share the video with you so you can
Yeah, and
hear
then I can play it for
the
sure.
audio. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll share it with you here at the chat. There you go. Well, that's very interesting because this type of antennas are very healthy, not only healthy, but very healthy. And that's pretty safe. Well, I will start reading the data analysis I got from 4 of the 6 studies because, well, just for shortening the time, I will talk of 4 of the 6 studies. But you can find more information on the paper Angela will provide, where I included all the 6 studies. And well, the first one is the influence of the pyramidal effect on tomato cultivation. The study investigated the effect of black Hookaroo Woods pyramid on the growth of 3 tomato cultivars, measuring several parameters every 10 days. All cultivars were found to show improvements on the pyramidal effect, although results varied by cultivator. In addition, the economic analysis revealed gains in the areas with the pyramid effect, with the line 2 being the most. In short, the pyramidal effect improved in the yield of tomato cultivars. Okay, this image is just a representation, are not the image of the real tomatoes. But in conclusion, the pyramid helped uh, the cultivation of the tomato. We also have another study. Is the name is the germination of green gram with influence of the pyramid energy in lunar days, which is interesting because they took the moon cycles in consideration in this experiment, and they looked at the impact of 2 types of pyramids, polywood and copper. of two different sizes and the germination of green grass seeds during the lunar months. The pyramids were observed to improve the germination, mean root length, and fresh seed weight compared to the control group, although they did not significantly affect baked dry weight. Copper pyramids and larger ones provide to be more effective, and germination was greatest during the first half of the crescent moon phase and the second half of the crescent phase. So they got uh, the best germination using the small copper pyramid and the big copper pyramid. They also used other material. They got good results, but not as good as the copper pyramid, which also our teacher has told us to. Oh, there's another summary of the third study, which is the effect of the pre-sowing incubation with a pyramid on germination and seedling growth. And well, this study shows also that the copper pyramid is much better than wooden pyramids. That's the conclusion on this study. And while she used it, she made the pyramid also to be facing north south, and well she used all the correct angles also, and well she got great results on the copper pyramid. And well, the fourth and final study in this presentation is also about germination of green grams seeds. And it is found that after 72 hours, they got the most growth in the pyramid, and the pyramid placed seeds with very great results from the others that they did not use the pyramids. So that's that's where we got it. And well, the summary and conclusion is the studies on electroculture and pyramidal energy showed positive results in plant growth. Best results are obtained by the copper pyramid with the correct angle, measurements, and alignment to the north and south poles. These include better seed germination, faster radical growth, and an overall increase in plant growth. Better crop yield was also observed in terms of quantity and quality of fruits under these conditions. The building materials of the pyramids, such as polywood, copper, fiberglass, seem to have influence and have effects, possibly due to electrical and magnetic properties, but it does not mean that are the best materials. In addition, maintaining controlled and uniform environmental conditions, including temperature, humidity, and lighting, is crucial to the effectiveness of the methods. However, more research is needed to fully understand the mechanisms involved and determine the efficacy of these techniques in different agricultural settings. Beneficial effects were observed with any pyramid building material, but the correct alignment and armor of the pyramid structure is crucial. Using copper is the best. It is recommended to standardize the methodology and construction materials of the pyramids to maximize the reproducibility of their effects and the access to these techniques.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another time on Amazon until first.
That is very
Well,
interesting.
for me,
Alignment
it's
has
crucial to
something to
establish
do
a
with it.
criteria to ensure the development of the relevant and reliable studies. These criteria may vary depending on the objective of the research, and some example of these implications are pyramid construction materials, pyramid structure measurements, ground positioning and orientation to magnetic poles, lunar cycles, and maybe tides. Tides also are implicated. Activation of the water or activating the substrates, because some studies were done using activated water and make the plants even bigger and faster germination than the ones used on the pyramid with no activated water. That's in the paper. The presence or absence of light, hours of exposure of the pyramidal activation, a location of water source or stream under the ground. It's also studied that the pyramid energy can enhance and be enhanced if we have water under the pyramids being naturally moved under the earth. The height of the geographical position, I think it's also a point that we need to study. Installation environments, suitable measurement methods for better results. And well, thank you very much. And it's dedicated, lovely, to our teacher, Janny Van Durm, and for Angela also. And I have some extra images for my first pyramid, my first pyramid, which is not that perfect, but you know, the first one might do the work. It might not. Well, I tried it anyways, and I used some measurements in Les Brown book, and also some advice from Yannick and Angela. And I used I don't know what's the name of the copper the copper
It's like a copper soldering brass.
yeah, copper soldering is not brass, but is
Brazing. They call it brazing.
A copper silver.
Brazing.
copper silver.
If
Yeah,
it were
it's copper
brazing, it
silver
would be the
gilding.
same color.
And well,
It's probably
this
silver soldering.
it's silver. And I also had some readings and temperature readings.
I paused it just for a second. I was talking, and yes, it is absolutely like a crucial not to use like standard lead soldering, but the silver 100%, especially dealing with gardening.
The best material is pure copper. That's what teacher Janik says. But we can use some silver if we have problems using only copper materials.
Nice. Yeah, Yannick's awesome. We'll have to get before we're done here, your contact, and if possible, schedule a further presentation with yourself. And if you can get Yannick, I'd love to have him on, as you guys are doing real science in electroculture and actually documenting it, taking it from the scientific method perspective, and actually advancing this into a real field of research and development.
It's true, and we are developing also other technologies with natural materials, like I've told the basalt. It's very interesting because it's linked to big vegetables. It's like a replication of the magnetic Schumann resonance, and it also interferes with some cosmic rays. And well, this structures water and makes plants healthier. And well, there's a Mexican farm guy which made some giant vegetables here where I live, using supposedly some ancient techniques from the Mayas, but I'm sure they used some volcanic rocks with paramagnetic effects on this yield. So we're studying water and all this stuff with the zeolites also.
That was literally my next question / statement of that the work you're doing, I no doubt, is proving and showing what lots of these ancient structures and buildings were for, and that it was actually to increase abundance and harvest and technology for agriculture.
Exactly. It's a way like doing some like acupuncture to the earth, aligning its energies in a healthy way. Let's remember now, technologies are contaminating its electromagnetic field everywhere. So it's like flushing this energy and transforming it. That's a pyramid. It's a transformation method of these energies, and we can achieve an output applied to plants, to animals. I also showed a study of the pyramid energy on a patient who had some kind of problem in the bones. And well, if you can go back in the video, there's more information about how the pyramid works and some bibliography about this, which is very important to know where it comes from. Those are the giant vegetables the Mexican farmer grew.
Stupid ad. Sorry, 1 second. I knew I was gonna do that.
And sure,
All
I
right,
can.
here we go. Starting at the giant vex. Wow.
Great Lake City
Yeah, let it play here for a little bit then.
Yeah.
agriculture in Tampico, Tamaulipas. His technique was based on the activation of seed by cosmic energy and lunar cycles, and possibly techniques based on electroculture. We have some images here about some of the plants he grew in the past. And well, these images mesmerized me. I saw them when I was a child, and I grew with these images in my brain of giant plants growing everywhere, and seeing the food of today. I was I don't know. Once you see this, there's no way to see the world but differently. I don't know. Look, these are lemons or limes, or I don't know what the heck. That's Miss Don Jose Carmen. Well, what's the
last
objective of
picture on the left,
electroculture?
that was the sugar
Is
beet.
to create a continuous flow of electromagnetic energy generated by the powerful resonance between the terrestrial or telluric electromagnetic grid, the ionosphere, and the cosmic energies, in order to positively influence plant health and optimize various agricultural processes with free environmental resources. According to various studies, such as that the scientist Ramalingam, magnetic fields can regulate various functions of plants, such as health, germination, growth, and improved tolerance to environmental stress. Well, this is a study about this scientist that showed that many type of magnetic fields can help in different ways, and he says that 150 microtesla to 250 microtesla can improve seed germination. I think we have a lot more to study because this is just one study, and there's a mountain of information we can keep studying about this subject, I think. And well, we see here an example on how the energetic fields work. I think it's just a part of what really goes on electroculture, but it's a start point to understand how the frequencies and the resonance work in the earth and the atmosphere. Okay, Pierre Berthelon and electroculture. Pierre devoted himself to electrical physics from 1770 and published his findings in the most prestigious scientific journals from 1780 to 1787. He explored the presence of electricity in the human body, plants, atmosphere, and earth, contributing to the recognition of electroculture in Europe. Berthelon applied electricity in medicine, the treatment of diseases, germination and growth of plants, and he defended the installation of the lightning rods and proposed earthquakes could result from the accumulation of underground electricity. I found it very interesting because I think most of the natural disasters are born this way also. In the like the pyramids and all these antennas can help us move these energies and have a more balanced atmosphere or earth or water or whatever. And here we see some images from the Book of Babylon, which I found interesting. I don't know what's he doing here, but it's like using a wand or something. I don't know.
I paused right there just to interject that we have to bring that up with Dutch Synths because what you're describing there ties exactly into his work. And then the aspects that the pyramids and some of these ancient mega structures were also for dealing with that energy.
Exactly. The Bosnia pyramids.
I've got a question.
Yeah, the Bosnia
Well, we have
pyramids
now
emit electrons
stage.
which heal people.
So I've played with this quite a bit, and I've got not a very large garden, but when I've made these structures trying to pull down energy to one specific spot, it worked. The one grape plant that was right next to where I did it grew probably 8 times as large as it has in the last 15 years. But the one that was next to it, a little ways away, almost died. So I wonder, if you've got thousands of acres of farmland, can you use these techniques to help all of them, or are you just moving this energy from one spot to another? And this is my big question. Nobody I've asked has known the answer. I hope you do. Anyway, I'll mute
Okay.
myself and listen to what you.
Yeah, there's our electrical tour guides, which are being shared right now. There's books of this. I do my source from Yannick, which for me it's the expert in this information right now. When you put electroculture antennas, these can emit a frequency or I don't know, a wave, a magnetic wave, but you need to position it into north-south position, and you need to calculate where the north is, because sometimes the magnetic field tends to go to the north and not go like in a sphere exact shape. It's more like an oval energy field, and you need to know where you position your plants or your antennas. You can also place an antenna near a tree which is bigger than the antenna, because the effect won't be the same. So I can share information of electroculture guide based on scientific facts, and maybe there's more information that can help you understand how it works. And this is just an introduction I made for a channel of a friend, but I can share it in the chat where you can find the guide if you want more information, brother.
I would love that.
I've also heard, like, if you sit underneath one of these structures, it like creates a field that heals like your natural body cells. Like if like it revitalizes your energy field. So it's not just for plants. I've heard about it. Like
Exactly.
yeah, so it's cool.
There's a lot of frequency, even microwaves, going around inside the pyramid structure. I don't know. There are really very interesting phenomena occurring inside the pyramids. But the interesting thing around all of this is that the thing that makes this process work is the vacuum. It's the form of the vacuum, and it's the air passing through it, which makes all these different properties.
Very interesting.
Also, the materials are important, but the shape is also important, the vacuum shape.
So I've run a lot of pyramid tests myself, and everything you say is things I've witnessed firsthand. I have absolutely seen it. I've even had parties where I convinced my friends to do double-blind experiments, which, by the way, there's a reason why you have to pay people to do double-blind experiments. They're not party material. They're super boring. But yeah, they still work.
Sure. Well, I think pyramids are not only this material thing, but they are like catalysis by because I don't know, there's a connection between our frequency of mind and all these structures. I don't know, I can't explain it this way, but we catalyze also the frequencies of these structures.
David Soretta actually goes into that aspect quite deep. If you've heard of David Soretta.
No,
I know David Soretta. He's been been around
I've
for a
run
while.
into I've run the same issues. Like the angle of your pyramid, it seems to imprint energy on you. Like this stuff, it does transfer things. It's why you don't want lead solder, which I've made a bunch of pyramids with lead solder. You can replace the lower section, the horizontal bits of the pyramid with insulating strings. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that's conductive. The copper works really well. All this stuff other people have found out. I've experimentally verified it. It's fascinating. It works. It's a real thing. But most people won't even look at it because they can't explain why it works. So they just ignore it.
okay, this goes very further. It's not only its shape, but the days you put it on, the timing a day, the cosmic alignments. Well, it's a bunch of I don't know, little stuff that you add. And teacher Janik says the pyramid imprints holographic energy from the cosmos to whatever you put inside. For example, we are going even beyond physics. I don't know if it's on the understanding. There's also information about the holographic DNA information I can share later. But literally, frequencies like terahertz, which can be achieved by humans, can make different changes in DNA. There's studies that you can read DNA from one species and repeat this frequency to another species and recreate its phenotype or its genotype on other species just by frequency. And it's an holographic imprint.
Wow.
It's an holographic printing of the DNA into another species. You don't need to use biologics or transgenics or other substances, but it's only the reading of the frequency of the DNA.
That would explain shapeshifters.
Yeah, exactly. And monoatomics use the shapeshifters use monoatomics to make this shapeshifting.
So monoatomics truly are the metamaterials of the
Shapeshifting or
demigod.
holographic projection
Exactly.
through energy fields.
We're also trying to put monoatomics inside the zeolite cages as if it was a container for neutrinos or something like this.
Nice. I'm not sure if you're aware of my own experiments where I've found that the sun impacts the monoatomic gold ormus, and it'll infuse the nano gold with the ormus gold and the sun, and then the silver does the same in the moonlight. And that I've found that through electrolysis, monoatomic silver is affected by the cycle of the moon. In a full moon, it produces a lot. In a empty moon, it produces barely any. And even went so far as doing an experiments during an eclipse where it stopped. It was producing abundance, a whole bunch, because it was a full moon up until the eclipse, and then it ceased to produce during the eclipse. And then, so that was with silver. And then with gold, I found that when the sun is out during the day, it'll produce white monoatomic gold. And then as soon as the sun sets, it starts producing this black goop instead off of it. And that the silver will oxidize with the moon when it's also on waning and waxing.
Amazing, brother. I've been following you, but I need to look more on that information because it's part of this awakening. We need to
R-
know how the monatomic works to understand how UFOs work.
Absolutely. So I
I
bring
think,
this up specifically in that you're doing some parallel work and research, and that if you're able to produce the gold and silver Ormus like anomalies in the same cycle with the moon and sun that I do through electrolysis, then that directly gives evidence of why the ancient alchemists tied these metals to the luminary bodies.
yeah, it's
Like the
very
moon and the sun
interesting.
are like, anode and cathode.
I've seen some information from this Barry Carter. He also mentions about using pyramid energy on the Hormuz. There's he made like a writing about this, and it's interesting. But I also like the information they put about the using the superconductive properties of the Hormuz applied on, for example, in this UFO or UAPs or whatever. That's like the main purpose we are searching for here where I live, which we are different people that are tied into this research.
It's awesome, man. It's in parallel with what we're doing. So it's just epic to meet you and share results and experiments and information. And
Of
if you
course.
don't mind, I'll play a little bit more of your video here, as I believe
Yeah.
you're just getting into explaining the pyramids power geometry of it, correct?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Justin Christopher. We know a little bit of him, but he's known by promoting and experimenting in electroculture. He has many inventions and patents. He was inspired by Berthold's works. He became passionate about the application of electroculture in gardening, agriculture, allowing the abundant production of fruits and vegetables without chemical fertilizers. And that's amazing, I think. Christopher was a prolific inventor, filing numerous patents each year in the field of electroculture, and this laid the foundation for future research. Well, we have his book here. I found his book in Spanish, and I've been sharing it. But well, I want to share more about Janik's work in Spanish better. So we have, well, his well-known antenna. This is, well, an example I found in the internet of a real one. I don't know. And there's a cabbage measuring 11 feet in circumference. Like, I think you guys in electroculture know that this happens like every day, or I don't know. But for me, it's really new. Okay, other notable
My suggestion-
contributions in electroculture, we have the no.
Space Case, were you saying something?
Oh, I was saying if he doesn't believe what he's been seeing, go try it because it absolutely works. I have. It's absolutely amazing. And like a lot of this stuff, if you don't see it for yourself, you're never going to believe it. Go try it because it's real. Absolutely.
Of course.
100%, right? It's like there's no better way than experimenting to figure out the results of something that you either want to prove or disprove. But the
We
reality of
go.
the situation.
Yeah, we
will be
go to
what-
the real pyramids, brother. We go to the real pyramids to do this and feel ourselves the energy.
Right, and yeah, exactly, like a pyramid. People out there, anyone listening, unless you've actually traveled to one of the ancient pyramids, like I've been to Chichen Itza a couple of times, and it's like until you actually experience being around it and just the energy that you feel, like it's a completely different just energy. It's something you have to experience to understand.
Yeah, it's like going to the sea for first time, maybe something like this.
Absolutely. It's great analogy.
Own Lakowski coils from George Lakowski, invented the electromagnetic energies in their influence, the growth and health of cell organisms. Well, he has some books, I think, not only this one, but he has more. We have also Philip Callahan, which investigated paramagnetism and its relationship to agriculture, developing measuring devices and promoting the use of paramagnetic rocks in agriculture. Well, the well-known towers made from the basalt, which I found also amazing. We have Marcel Violet, studied the effects of high frequencies on water treatment and developed a device for treating water with electric shocks, observing profound effects on plant souls. I don't know if this thing is his machine, but I think it has something to do with it. Well, the avant-garde in electroculture in the 1980s, the research of Martin Perel, PhD, showed that electroculture can increase the growth of medical plants by up to 100%, in addition of increasing the dry weight and active molecular contents. Very important, because some people think that big vegetables or big plants will not have the same nutritional content, but electroculture, we have more active molecular content. And I think with greater applications and healthier, and I don't know, I think electroculture might give us some great results on getting even healthier plants with better applications on human health and foods. We also have our teacher, Yannick Bondun, PhD, currently leads the cutting edge in the field of electroculture, specializing in effects of sound and electromagnetic waves on water and plant growth. Van Doorn participated in writing the book of electroculture, Free Energies for Agriculture, and the production of the documentary Resonance, the Influences of Electromagnetic Waves and the Human Beings. Well, I've not seen his basalt book in English, but once I get it, I'll be glad to read it. And well, this is an image of the study he made about the influence of frequencies, sonors, in the development of the plants, which is in French, but I managed my way to find it in English. Okay. Electroculture in the present.
The link to this?
Yeah, it's in the private chat, the full presentation.
Oh, okay.
Agriculture has resurfaced today and has captured the attention of various agricultural and ecological movements, such as permaculture, organic agriculture, and sustainable gardening. For its application, certain specific materials and instruments are needed, such as natural minerals, which paramagnetic properties, and simple structures such as antennas and various metals. Some of the most prominent structures are magnetic rods, atmospheric antennas, cylindrical basalt towers, and copper pyramids.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from
And copper pyramids. There we go. Okay, and what's about the pyramids now? Okay, where do the pyramids fit in all this? The pyramid at Cheops, we know, one of the 7 wonders of the world, characterized by being the height of 148 meters and unique mathematical properties. And it's oriented from north to south, which allows it to emit electromagnetic fields. This is one image done by a scientist that has shown that the pyramids, the Cheops pyramid, produce these electromagnetic fields, and he has measured the longitude and the distribution of the electromagnetic field. And well, we see the field wavelength is from 200 to 600 meters. I think if the pyramid was complete or activated, or I don't know, not broken, because I think it has some missing parts, it could have more effects on the atmosphere, in the earth, in the water that has also, it has water under the pyramid. There is information that the Cheops pyramid, there's a lot of water under it. Well, ancient architecture, ancient civilizations use a specific form in their constructions. This design exemplified by the pyramids or obelisks would act as resonators of electrical and paramagnetic energy. The tops of obelisks used to be covered with conductive metals, functioning as ideal antennas for all microwave and electromagnetic radiation. Well, energy in the pyramids have a high magnetic field density at the top, and the increase of electric field voltage of 100 volts / meter in height. So the highest the pyramid is, supposedly, the more voltage you find, because it's getting connected to the ionic currents. So if we have, I don't know, a tower, a skyscraper might be very high percentage in the voltage at the very top of the skyscraper. So we found that the pyramids can be also measured with different technical devices. I managed my way to make some of these measurements. Sometimes I got lectures, sometimes I did not got lectures at all. And well, I'll be sharing them at last. And the research of Antoine Bobis discovered that the replicas of the pyramids of Cheops can reproduce the mummification of animals, which led to more experiments revealing properties for food preservation. This guy found that some animals got dead inside of the pyramid, and they dehydrated, and well, he found that the food also had a long shelf life put inside the pyramid. We find information also about the pyramid in Bosnia, also in the information that our teacher Janik has told us. He's told us about this pyramid in Bosnia, which is the Sun Pyramid. And some scientists also managed to measure the frequencies of this pyramid, which very large, even larger than the Cheops pyramid. And he found variations of the kilohertz found in the pyramid, but he found these frequencies. Very interesting. There's magnetic energy in the pyramids, according to Les Brown. Pyramids collect magnetic energy, cosmic rays, and radio waves, releasing it when it reaches a certain intensity. This energy can have various positive effects on health and other areas. There are thermal also effects of the pyramids, studied by Arif Narimanov, which is a Russian scientist. He points out that the distribution of the temperatures within the pyramid can influence its functioning. The experiments with vertices showed that they dried faster and grew more actively within the pyramids. So there are different theories about the energies that the pyramid has inside. And some scientists says that there are magnetic fields, radio waves, that the pyramid has very interesting thermal functions. There are also scientists that says that the pyramids can also charge in electrostatic energy. So we have different energies inside the pyramid, not only electromagnetic, but we also find radio waves and whatever else There are also some studies done in water, which measured some water alterations, and the pyramidal energy can alter pH of the water and promote moisture loss from biological samples, as we see in the food preservation methods. And it is said by this scientist, Arif Narimanov, that the pyramid generates hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2. I think this is just a hypothesis of mine, that the pyramid can produce different types of water depending on where it is placed, and even cycles of the sun or the moon. This is just one of my hypotheses, but this Arif Narimanov investigated that the pyramid produced hydrogen peroxide, and it is also known, scientifically proven, that the Cheops pyramid in the King's Chamber produce hydrogen, highly concentrated amount of hydrogen. So it might be correct, the perspective of Narimanov. Also, we see an image here about the resonant microwave.
Oh, I was just saying about the
It's
condensed version of hydrogen.
That the pyramids have internal frequency resonance and microwave.
I paused it. Go ahead. Oh, cutting
Oh,
out.
it's a video. Oh,
yeah, it's a video
okay.
that we're playing.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna add, because like condensed hydrogen in the King's chamber. That's nut. Wow. I think it just. I
I've
guess
heard of this
because of all.
before.
Yeah, like I guess because of all the like magnetic. I guess maybe radio waves or microwave. Let's just say microwaves bouncing off the King's chamber, more in condensed space, right? I think that would definitely put more energy into the, I guess, the water to make it transmute to hydrogen. That actually makes a lot of sense, because more condensed space has more energy in that right, in a confined area.
I mean, one time they said that they found some like pink substance in one of these pyramids, in those big old granite blocks. They said that like they found something in there, and then when when they got I think that there was mummies in there. When they got it out, like these things like lost shape, but when they put it back into the substance, they became like, as if like they were just put in there, like it repaired the cellular structure. So I don't know, I'm thinking like it could have been that that liquid hydrogen, hydrogen peroxide. I don't know. I mean,
Les Brown said the pyramids were like transmutating elements. That's what Les Brown here in the image used some metals, and he put them over the pyramid, and those transmuted. There's a good information about that, but maybe they use the pyramids for transmutation in general.
Right? The
Do
Alchemist.
they put the metals above the pyramid or inside the pyramid?
There's different ways to place elements, because not only the inside works, but the upper levels of the pyramid work, and the sides at the bottom also emit frequencies.
Interesting.
Bob
So
Greenyer has a
I guess
fascinating
if
video.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Bob Greenyer has a fascinating video on the Great Pyramid and how it transmutes the elements, and he goes into it and he shows where the critical structures would have been to absolutely activate this in an incredible way. And there's chisel marks on the wall where somebody looks like they've removed key components to it. So it would not surprise me if small scale versions do that, because the large ones appear to have done it. And if you watch that video, you'll probably be convinced.
Remove or stole.
Really? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I believe they break them.
Oh,
That's a really good one. I forget what it's called. I mean, he's long format videos. It's an enormous amount of time to go through and watch his information, but it's
we know, but we love it.
Who's enormous amount of time?
Bob Grenier at the Martin
What's
Fleischmann
the
Memorial
name of the guy?
Project's work.
Enormous amount of time, or
Bob Grenier.
oh, Bob.
Grenier.
Oh yeah.
Martin Fleischmann
Oh yeah.
Memorial
No,
Project.
I've been going through his work in depth. Trust me.
right, but
I
he has
believe we all
exactly the
have.
transmutation, and he's done the transmutation of elements in a small scale with electric currents, and it shows up with a pyramid shape and all the internal structures. It's all mapped out really well. Somebody does arc welding. Instead of like putting it under an electron microscope like Bob Grenier does, they just hit it with the hammer and knock it off to call it slag. Anyway, if you analyze this stuff close enough, small scale, large scale, it all matches. So the pyramid stuff, I'm pretty sure it's transmuting elements. Anyway, I didn't mean to disrupt anything. I'll go mute myself again.
Oh no, you're perfectly
It's
adding to
good.
it, brother. It's awesome.
It's good. It's
No, I
good.
was just kidding.
Which can affect water molecules and trigger freeze drying processes. The freeze drying processes in Spanish, I think, is called liofilización or lyophilization. And well, the magnetic field is being measured, and what is shown here is the water inside the pyramid. This is the magnetic field distribution inside of the pyramid. This is the water. Distribution of the magnetic field surface in the water placed inside of the pyramid shape, 300 megahertz. Okay, we see some images here of how water looks after being put some hours under the pyramid or even days. This is a very small bubbles start forming, and many people say that this is a normal when you put the pyramid, the water in the pyramid. And I know, and I've used the high grade hydrogen peroxide, and it's actually the same. You see a lot of bubbles in the hydrogen peroxide. Okay, this is some study made on the water. Some scientists did some studies on the water, and what I find interesting is that water that's being put in the pyramids, its pH tend to be more balanced into 7, not 7 plus, but it goes to 7, which is the most balanced pH. It is also found that solids increased in the water, increasing the electrical conductivity in the water. I don't know how this is possible, but from not finding magnesium in the water, after using the pyramid energy, you could find magnesium in the water, which increased the electrical conductivity in the water, which is pretty strange. I don't know if this is normal, but well, this is a study made by some scientists and had the Amixa laboratory doing its analysis for them.
Mobile games are going big.
Okay, less pyramids, pyramidal shapes and electrostatic energy. During the 60s, it was evidence that the pyramid shapes kick fields. In the recent experiment, it was found that the copper pyramid accumulates a slight charge, mainly south-west-east direction. Impact of the magnetic field on seeds. Research by Albert Roy Davis that the exposure of seeds to specific magnetic fields had a significant impact in their development. Also, the Ebner effect from Guido Ebner showed that this effect is based on electrostatic and it is engineering for the total repair of the modified plants. So in the low frequency magnetic fields and
Sorry, my computer crashed. I will be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. And oh, still here? We still here? I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I'm here.
All
I'm
right,
here.
everybody's here. Gotcha. We got it. We're back. And back to the presentation.
Do you know what
but
angle? What
it is a
angle?
link
The degree of angle
like
on the pyramid is?
52.8.
Okay.
electrostatic or
And 52.8, that's the same as the Giza ones, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried with the Nubian ones, the steeper inclines?
Yeah, there's also using the Nubian calcul for the cone, for the basalt cone.
Oh, for the cone. Nice. Okay. Gotcha.
electromagnetic
Also,
fields in the seeds or
Sorry, continue, Space Case. My bad.
oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to add that if you look at the base profile of the Nubian pyramids versus the Giza pyramid, the Nubian one fits right in the middle, and you take that same square and you can fill in the outside. They are absolutely geometrically linked incredibly well, if nobody has pointed that out before.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's something. I've heard that.
I watched it on a channel called YouTube channel called Spirit Science. My goodness, is it just absolutely the most fascinating channel I've ever found in quite a while. Anyway, that's been the last 2 days watching that channel.
Why is the top with the copper sheets, like the top of the pyramid? I see like it's like the four sides there's like a small metal sheet of copper, like, you know?
Yeah.
Copper cone.
It's supposedly
end
to
of the-
be pointy, because if it's less pointy, the energy is not collected the same way, supposedly.
So is it hollow from the inside, or is it like, okay, it's hollow?
Yeah, they can use hollowed tubes, and you can fill them with basalt, which has iron oxides. Iron oxides are not just paramagnetic, but are super paramagnetic when they are nanoparticles of iron oxide, which basalt have. And some people use to put basalt inside the tubes, but you can also use the complete copper with no tube.
Like solid pieces.
Yeah, solid pieces. And the evolution of the pyramid is the cone, because with the cone you do not need orientation. It will absorb the energy anyway.
Oh, I get what you're saying. That actually makes sense.
Shape power.
Right? And that there's actual power in the geometry of a structure.
Exactly. We can see in Victor Ravendikap's structures while he is structuring water. He used a lot of geometries which are similar to these cone-like spirals, copper-like, and well, it's amazing what a water can change when you use mechanics and physics and even other type of technologies on the water, like vacuum, also in nano vacuums, for example. Water can change its frequency if you put it inside geometry, for example. When you put water inside the zeolite cage, its oscillation increases depending on the molecular structure the water zeolite absorbs these molecules.
Do you wonder if you freeze the whole thing, will the water molecules crystallize in different formations?
What I'm thinking right now on using zeolites, it's putting the zeolites in seawater. If there's some crystal formation or something like that, or using also harmless minerals and see if some harmless minerals grow over the zeolite or something. Using lasers, I don't know, some type of excitement for the crystals.
Well, I mean, there's salt
I
in
like that.
water, so it's going to do something for sure. Just the salt itself, it's going to form something.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the sodium crystals.
sure.
Or plants. And well, we know that the pyramid, it's a combination of different type of antennas. That's a very, very known and also taught by our teacher Yannick, that the pyramid, it's a compilation of different properties. And we obviously found the low frequency magnetic fields and also the electrostatic properties. Well, we see a very famous image here from our teacher. I think you already know the information in this image. Some other examples of the pyramids used for small germinations, or the basalt, the famous basalt being activated with the pyramid shape, and maybe water inside that. I don't know how to call it. And well, some other examples. And well, this is a small video about the Ebner effect. I will share it.
A unique discovery of two scientists of ScienceGuy, now Novartis, in Basel, Switzerland. Guido Ebner and Heinz Schürch placed seeds of germ cells of different species into an electrostatic field, a DC voltage field, much like we have it naturally in our atmosphere, in a thunderstorm, or as it occurs between membrane dipoles in the cell. Only they created fields of an intensity of up to 10,000 volts. The seeds remained in the electrofield for about 3 days, or sometimes longer, and then were allowed to sprout and grow. The resulting plant or organism displayed a striking phenomenon. Modern-day maize seeds, for example, will develop up to 5 ears in one place, where normally only one cob develops. This is how maize grew in much earlier evolutionary times. Genetic characteristics that had been lost through cultivation or crossbreeding were brought back and were continued into the following generation of the same plant. The same happened to modern-day wood fern, whose spores were treated in the electrostatic field. It reversed its evolutionary history and grew into a different phenotype of a fern that grew millions of years ago, but no longer today. Chemically and genetically, the wood fern was still the same, but its shape and appearance had jumped back in time. How is that possible? Unless the genetic information is stored somewhere else, possibly in the geomagnetic field, or will at least require a coupling with this background field to access the current version of a plant.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's just like
It's
it's amazing.
mind-blowing.
So it activated dormant DNA.
This is
So the plant reverted to an ancient form.
This is an hologram.
Whatever it's been, the evolutionary path for, whatever it is, just.
It didn't regress. It may have, because who's to say that, ancient forms, life of any kind was less evolved than today's.
Most were bigger, larger.
Or maybe they were more evolved even.
They've got more silicon in their structures.
Would that megafauna more magnetic fields back then than there is now? That's why, they changed.
I think we can harness them again. This is just shut down. They're just.
I think it's more of a technological epochs. They just keep repeating. Yeah. Like technology is going to start somewhere and end somewhere at its maximum, and it's going to repeat that. No matter how many civilizations start the
like
technology bubble.
Age refining, that's just so fascinating. I've got to.
I mean, it's possible our evolution now can evolve
repeat
so
those
fast that we become to our maximum evolutionary stage through technology.
You gotta
like the ancients did in the past.
Yeah. You gotta go watch the primal code.
Okay, hit play.
Like the pyramids are some type of evidence of that,
The eggs of modern rainbow trout were treated in the same field and surprised the researchers again. The fish born from the treated spawn reversed back in time for 150 years to manifest a phenotype of trout that since has become extinct. It has a larger underjaw, different coloring, is much larger in size, and displays a much less domesticated behavior than modern farm trout. It also does not need all the antibiotics that farm fish need to survive. The current paradigm of genetics cannot explain the phenomenon. Is evolutionary history recorded in and perhaps even controlled from a surrounding field? Could we access different stages of development by fine-tuning the electric field treatment? And if the genetic image exists as...
Okay, this is a video extract from a video shared by Angela in the electroculture group. If you're not in that group, I think she can share it, but it's a very interesting information about the holographic nature of our DNA. And well, that's an interesting subject for later.
Do you think if we get eggs,
now know,
if we get normal eggs and put them through that field, we'll get like dinosaurs back again?
I don't know if dinosaurs, but a very pure form of this animal. I guess we can.
So
Oh man.
life in the DNA, it records an RNA copy. And something like mustard is really hard to breed because 1 out of 100 plants is going to restore that ancient genetic code for the reason of trying to adapt to
Good point.
things. So they might be activating the RNA backup. That might be what they're doing, but also DNA is a self-programming system. And it's absolutely incredible what it's capable of. A guy named Tim Peters, he went and bred vegetables, and he did the same amount of work that the whole Chinese government did with their thousands of employees. He had no land. He literally rode his bicycle from one place to the other, from borrowed plots of land, and outcompeted a whole government. And the way he did it was he asked the seeds to please grow what he wanted them to grow. That was his big trick, which he hesitantly admitted. Anyway, it's the DNA, the life is way crazy complex. It's absolutely fascinating. Anyway, I love it.
The key aspect of this information of the video, the primal code, which I suggest you see the whole video, is amazing, is that our DNA is not contained in this physical body. The information, the DNA is like an antenna, a fractal antenna, nanofractal plasmic antenna, which receives the signal from this other level, I don't know, electromagnetic earth field, or I don't know how to say it, but the information can be modified by using the pyramids and all the frequencies that the earth and the cosmic rays can emit, thus showing that some people can be healed when put inside the pyramid. The electrons have been measured on the pyramids from Bosnia, and they have lectured very high levels of electrons. And well, I think the importance of this video is to show us and understand us that information that generates our body is not in this physical structure. It's beyond.
It immortalizes into the ether, essentially. It's timeless.
It's a code in the matrix imprinted somewhere at the cloud.
Right?
It's very, very close to the bagel coil field, only instead of a torus, it's like the Celtic knotwork. And it stores information incredibly well. I'm very convinced of this. It is absolutely, the proverbial mud pond when life showed up, or amino acid pond, it almost guaranteed was an electromagnetic pattern from some of the life from some of the planet that drifted over here. That's how life spreads through the galaxy, is through these patterns. They're self-stable, they don't lose energy, and they contain all the information to rebuild itself.
Like amino acids. Or primary, amino.
Right, and it's not like in some nebulous ether. This is absolutely provable hard science in the electromagnetic fields, and it's just simply self-stable. That's how it works.
And that would also explain and make sense why that these bringing out this technology and using it again now at this point when we're so polluted with other EM radiation that it will actually magnify and have exponential results compared to, just that fudging jumble of radiation that's going everywhere from every which angle of what we use in the digital age.
Yeah, I think we need to understand how to transmute these energies into something, into a good potential. Everything can be, even trash can be converted into fuel.
Absolutely. Well said. The transmutation of, someone's another man's trash is another one's treasure. Universal human trash into renewable energy, and that no matter where you are, what you're doing, you're leaving an eternal imprint with every action and motion that you do.
Well said, brother.
Indeed. So do you have a website or a YouTube channel or anything that we can share, brother? For the
I actually, are you there, Bernie? I think
and I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
you went other way. Oh, no problem. I do not have a specialized webpage for this information. I do work as a nutritionist, and that's why I'm interested in the vegetables being growth with electroculture. So I have a Telegram page which I post information about zeolite, which I commercialize. So that's another story. But we are interested in the UFO phenomenon because here where I live, we got some evidence on it. We have some UFO videos, very interesting. We can share, and we
Ooh, do you
also
actually want mind pulling one of those up? We can end off the stream on that note.
cool. I'd be amazed if I can share some of those because they're amazing. I've shared them before, but I will share them now because I think it's the time to show these videos. These have been taken at night with a night shot. Okay, let me see if I got a good one here.
I loved your presentation. Thank you for sharing. It's anyway. Thank you.
Thank you guys also for being interested in this information.
Second that.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Very-
Faustino. Thank you. And it was meant to be, and there will be many more. I did send you email. It was the second email you posted, correct? In the
Yeah,
private chat, I emailed you, so we have each other's contacts.
yeah. Thank you, Bernie. I'm searching for these videos. If you want to keep another
Yeah,
until I find them, I can tell you. Just give me some moments, please.
yeah, no worries. Jeremiah, any last words? Space Case? Lulu?
Have you ever heard if you put like magnets on if you get like a round magnet and you put it
I'm still here.
plant a seed, the seed will grow like way much bigger than without the magnet. You know, that's just a regular like little donut magnet.
Yeah,
Would also like
It
yield.
appears to be absolutely true that happens. I've seen it before, and from what I can tell, the electron charge clusters stick into things when they have a higher magnetic field, and I think that's why that's happening. I know a lot of people for a long time have put like a magnet underneath the water and then set it out in the sun, and then they drink that and claims it helps them out. And it's only after Bob Greenyer showed all this crazy stuff about the Begel coil field of these are the electron charge clusters. They get stuck in things in water specifically when it's got a magnetic field around it. I think that's why the seeds do better. It's the electroculture thing, exactly the same mechanism happening.
Have you ever heard of magnetic water? Like, okay, my kid said that I don't know where they heard it, but they bring like bottles of water and they leave it in the sunlight for like days. And they said that it collects magnetic particles inside of the water. I mean, of course, I don't have a sophisticated microscope, but that's what they say. And like, if you drink that water, it's supposed to be,
yeah.
You can't
Water.
You can't see it with a microscope. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, water is very interesting because you can magnetize water by using very simple magnets like ferrite magnets can magnetize or structure water, but you can also use other type of ways you can structure water for it to create liquid crystals, which are called like fullerenes, for example, but these are made from water molecules. These are called calthrites, made from water, and they act like a nanosymbol water structure with 36 sides or 34 sides. I don't remember the structure of these water calthrates, but there are many different type of physical things you can do to water, like by sonoluminescence you can create a very high frequency inside in a bottle and create like a star-like energy, supposedly like sunlight energy, just by using sound. So I guess water, it's like a universal fluid that can be changed to different type of
That's
potentials.
correct.
And well, the thing is, we need to understand how this fluid or whatever thing it is works, so we can use its potential, because we know some people use water as fuels right now. But what if we use them as plasma creators or something like that for
Oh,
later?
you're on the same wavelength as me with that one. And that's why I'm so excited with the experiments you're doing with the Ormus and using the what type of waves was it you're putting in? The or ultrasonic, right?
We're using ultrasonic. We're using also UV light on zeolites. It got some properties on zeolite UV lights. We're using other type of infrared lights, and we are trying to find some terahertz frequency system to see if it works in water or in the crystal structures or in the hormus. But the thing we are working right now is on structuring water and using this type of natural mechanisms and designs and geometries or energies to structure water for, I don't know, cleaner waters in our cities, for example.
That's a very noble cause. Were you able to find one of the UFO videos? Or
Yeah, just give me 1 minute more, because
okay.
I'm looking for them in my cell phone, and I need to send
Oh,
them
no worries.
to my laptop.
Hey,
Okay.
Faustino, I'd like to comment about that sonoluminescence thing.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting.
regarding that, the pyramid, I have a theory that the pyramids are generating the signals needed to create sonoluminescence in our sky, and we look up at it every day. We call it the sun. That's my
Okay.
theory.
They've seen sonoluminescence over some cathedral structures. Some sonoluminescence, like little suns, have been seen on these structures when they are activated.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I look forward to that discussion on the next one.
But what
Like,
about the actual sun? Do you suppose that the pyramids, we don't know who actually built them? The
I
pharaohs
don't
say they
know.
built them
I don't
because
know
they drew that
what's
all over the walls and stuff. But
I don't know what's the sun really. Some people in esotericism say it's the dark sun or something like that, making this reflection. I don't know. That's
I mean, just like sonoluminescence works in water, there's lots of water in the air. There's more water in the air than there is in the ocean.
yeah.
So I mean, that you create the light in the water. What generates the signal to create the light in the air? There is obviously a light in the air.
Well, there's water underneath us, larger oceans underground, supposedly. Or what if that's in the center? If there's an inner sun from sonoluminescence at the center.
That
I
too,
found the
right? You
video.
have suns all over the place. It's on. If frequency generators, can do that, which they can. So
Doesn't that
apparently,
have a molten magnetic, I don't know, lava in there? That would be
well, there's
like,
also caves in
Somewhere.
the earth, huge caves for sure.
Yeah,
Then they
caves.
also claimed that the core stopped spinning last year, and since they made that claim, I'm like, do we really have any clue what's going on?
So the core spun slightly slower than that the outer of the Earth spins. It didn't stop spinning. That the people that
Oh,
reported on that
okay.
got that very.
Thank you
It's just
for clarifying that, because I was like, are you effing kidding me? They claimed it stopped. I thought that they had claimed that it stopped, but that is false news. That's fake news.
yeah. It started spinning slower. just like how
So the
poles of
pharaohs
the
draw
sun.
like all over the pyramids, but do they have any drawings of how they built the pyramids on those walls? No, they don't. So how does
No, there's
if
no
they
drawings.
did, if they had
The,
drawings
the
of
pyramids
their
don't contain any
engineering?
drawings. Like the pharaohs didn't draw all over the pyramids. There were a few pieces of manipulation from the pyramids that the pharaohs found when they showed up there. But the pyramids go back to the time when Egypt was called Kemet, and they're a lot older than the current Egyptology would have us believe. So there are not hieroglyphs filling the walls of the Great Pyramids. That's something that you find in cartoons and movies, but there's nothing inside the walls of the pyramids except for scorch marks from apparently their use
Really?
as previous.
From the video,
That is
guys.
correct.
Right. The
So
only
that's
drawings that are in the
propaganda.
pyramid, they appear to be builder's marks in those tiny little tubes where they like marked how long they were supposed to build that particular shaft. They're all like construction things. That's the only markings in the pyramid.
There you go,
Right,
guys.
but there's no blueprints, ancient blueprints of their engineering, is what I'm saying. So if you had that,
Yeah,
that's
that's correct,
proof that
because
they
the
built
language
it.
system that you're
Whoever
referring
wrote
to,
on those blueprints, they definitely built it.
Oh.
right, yeah, the language system that you're referring to, the glyphs that we are expecting those blueprints to be in, wouldn't be there because these were built before those glyphs ever had existed. Before that language system had been created.
Oh no, we gotta replay that. It was too short.
I don't know. Every
That
time
was
I
something
see
else.
those videos, I feel so at peace. It's like there's like a surreal connection that I can't even explain. Like, play that video again, please.
Sure.
And did you take this
Was that at
video
night? Was
yourself?
that filmed at night?
Yeah, it's filmed at night.
So those are
We
not
here
birds then.
where I live, we live in a community. Many people are searching for this UFO because it's a very it happens almost daily, and we have pathways marked from these structures. We know where they move, so that's why they are firm with the camera. This is a friend of mine. I had ones of my own, but we are a group of people which are interested on searching this phenomenon, and we've also talked with the people in the town, which are elder people, and they teach us about these stories of the UFOs they've seen under the water, or UAPs going inside the water, or even absorbing water, which is very interesting.
That's amazing.
From above the water?
Yeah, they're going above the water and absorbing the water, like in a mist-like form.
The
So
mist,
there's old,
that's so
Like,
crucial.
like using
there's
it as
old,
fuel. You think?
I think there
there's
some people speculate they are extracting the minerals from the water, or some kind of energy.
So there are old spiritual books, like from about 100 years ago, that talk about taking disassociated water and using this spiritually, and you can create whatever you want out of it. Like, this is the base thing when you transmute stuff. You want
Exactly.
disassociated water, and this is how you build everything. And I only heard this a few
Exactly.
days ago, and then you bring up they're taking water, so that tends, maybe that's what they're doing with it.
Yeah, remember, water can be changed in many forms, and it's the universal dissolvent at many levels.
And it's made of hydrogen and oxygen.
Yeah.
By disassociate, you mean split up the two hydrogens and the one oxygen?
I think that's what they meant, but I'm not sure. I mean, these are textbooks from like the 1920s and 30s. They're really old, so I'm not sure quite what they meant.
Sounds like you have three elements, three atoms, and two elements, or whatever. Two hydrogens, one
I'm not
oxygen,
sure.
three atoms, two elements.
I've been showing the video. I thought I was sharing. Lol.
Oh yeah, no, we got.
There you go again.
You suppose these UFOs are coming from that planet Nibiru?
Thank you.
These are coming from the sea. That's what people think over here.
But they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
From one waterbed to another.
I don't think they have craft like that to go from one place on Earth to another place on Earth.
Salvatore Pius also believes they come from the ocean. When I asked, he said
I
that
know,
that
but
would
they
be
don't
the
have craft like
contact.
that to go from one place on the Earth to another place on Earth. They have craft like that to go from one place on Earth to another planet. There's no purpose in having craft like that to go bouncing around on one planet.
Well, what if it's an inner planet?
That's what I'm saying. So you think they're coming or going to Nibiru?
I mean, they say there's like in ancient things there's something called the sea people.
You know, back and forth from Earth and Nibiru, whatever. Mars, even.
Possibly,
All
probably.
the above. Why do you have craft like that to go bouncing around on Earth? Yeah, sure, you're coming from the oceans, but I don't think you're going back into the ocean.
How big do you think these things were?
There are many reports, but I've seen this myself at naked eye. Maybe some 60 meters away from me. I don't know how to convert this on feet, but this
those are not anomalies.
This craft were silent. They were flying on Delta formation and make no noise at all. They were like a plasma like. In the center, they were really bright lights, white, and at the surface, it was like a bright electric blue, like exotic propulsion image. But in the center, it was a bright lights. They were not attached into another structure. They were just some spheres going around from east to west. They came from the beach. Actually, I live on the Gulf of Mexico. They came from the east, and well, I don't know if they have somewhere to go because this route they go. The researchers go to this route, and maybe 3 times a week they have these filmings. And some people say these UFOs or UAPs or whatever go to a Devil's Tower we have here in my town. We got like a Devil's Tower, like in US. It's called Cerro of Orcasitas or Cerro del Bernal. And people also claim to see a lot of anomalies. And actually, this Cerro of Bernal is made out of basalt. So there's a link into basalt. It's a link into water and, well, pyramids, because we also have pyramids here. So I don't know if they are looking for this energy, they are blocking it, or I don't know, but there are a lot of crazy stuff going on here.
Wow. Well, we are going to have to do a full investigation into that, an episode just on that. Thank you for sharing and bringing all of this knowledge, your experiences, your own work, as well as Space Case, Mike, Jeremiah, Lulu. Thank you all for being here, and
Thanks,
we
guys.
will do this again. This was awesome.
Yes, this is definitely really fun.
So keep your eyes to the skies and, well, record and capture what you can, and we're going to try to build it. Much love, everyone.
Good night.